Well, today I'm over here at on Bolivar, just across the water from Galveston Island. This is Fort Travis. Fort Travis was a fort that was uh, started construction around 1890s, 1899, and was in use from World War I all the way up until the end of World War II. A lot of people here in Houston, the Houston area, Galveston area, don't realize there's actually three forts. There's Fort Travis, which is right here, across the water here. This is the Gulf of Mexico. One that way is Galveston Bay. And across over there, past these ships and everything, there's actually another fort called Fort San Jacinto. That's about the same age, same era as this fort. Then if you go further up the seawall, there's another fort that's now pretty much gone. There's a hotel built on top of it. It was called Fort Crockett. But here today, I'm at Fort Travis. Fort Travis. This is one of the probably a lookout. Originally, it had blast doors up front and sides. You kind of sort of see the remains of the hinges. This place has a few fortifications, a few batteries. They call them batteries. As you can see, it's full of water. There probably would have been probably a phone right there, some kind of phone that communicates to the other batteries. Yeah, we have a battery there. We have a battery right here. One right there. I'll go to each of them. Each one has a separate history, sort of a unique history. Now this seawall, it was built after the hurricane of 1900. So it was built sometime 1909. Construction started. Um, it's a beautiful brick road. This brick road here actually encompasses. It starts over there and encompasses the entire seawall length of the fort. But they built this after the Hurricane 1900 because Hurricane 1900 also not only destroyed Galveston, but also damaged the fort badly. So they went ahead and built a seawall, and you can tell which fortifications were built pre-seawall and which ones were built after the seawall was installed. So we'll head over that way. That way is two of the older batteries installed in the 1890s. Yeah, during Hurricane Ike, when the Ike came through, this part of the old brick road was somewhat damaged. Um, it's been repaired somewhat since then. But I remember the waves were breaking over the seawall, and this is all flooded out right here. And then as the water drained, it found its way through the bricks. And as it did, it washed out the sand, and there were some large holes and stuff. And they came back and sort of repaired it best they could. But yeah, this is part of the rougher part of Fort Travis when it comes to its brickwork. I think, if I remember right, this brick was laid sometime in the 1920s. The seawall is 1909, 1919, somewhat of the right after the hurricane of 1900, and the brickwork's 1920s. But over here we have our first battery. It's one of the oldest batteries of installed in 1899. So let's get it over there real fast. Now what we have here is Fort Ernst. It was built in 1899. It had three rapid fire 3-inch guns mounted. There was one that was right there, one in the center, one on the side. In my childhood, if you would have came here prior to probably 2015, 2016, you could actually, these gates, these fences went up, and you could actually go inside these and walk around, explore, and all that. Now the fences are up to keep people out, mostly because it's structures. Some of the structures are getting a little older. But these big doors, these big blast doors, you see, that's a magazine there. That's a magazine over there, and those fed the guns on the top. And in my childhood, up until probably 1990s, those doors actually would you can shut them and close them and latch them, and they're functioning functioning doors. Nowadays, I remember sometime 2013, 2014, I was out here, and they're rusted. They're rusted in place, so they don't move anymore. But this was the first fort that was built. You can see right there. Let's take a zoom in. Yeah, that's one location of one of the 3-inch guns. One's right there, and the other is past these stairs. I'm zoomed in. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, other right there. That's the location of the 3-inch guns. Cool thing is these the big bolts and the nuts that they use to house these guns are still in place. Let me get my zoom out, guys. But yeah, in my childhood, in fact, I'm gonna have a story. I want to have a story just for that childhood thing. But yeah, back then you could actually walk through all these, all but one. You could walk through all but one. They wasn't gated off, wasn't closed off. And like I said, I think because of their old, like this is 1899. It's had a couple upgrades because this was again 1899. It served through World War One and World War Two. And then after World War Two, this whole place was pretty much deemed as obsolete. This used to be a dock. They used to go out. Right in front of me, that is the Gulf of Mexico. These ships right here, going that way, that is the Galveston Bay. And this fort was put here in order to protect the entryway into Galveston Bay. Like I said, across over there, that would have been Fort San Jacinto. I'm pretty sure at night, if they had signal lanterns, they could talk back and forth to each other, because when you're over there, you can look across the water and see this fort here. But yeah, years ago when I was out here first, this little pier, this little dock used to go further out. Once where the concrete ends, there was actually wooden pilings going further out. And in my youngest childhood memories, that was all charred and everything. I think someone probably lit the dock on fire, years after the place was decommissioned. And now this is sort of a fishing spot. People go and fish sometimes and everything. Yeah, I really wish these gates weren't up no more, because it's really cool. Real cool history. Fort. This is Battery Ernst. Battery Ernst. Now over here, there's another installation. I'm gonna head there next. Oh, another side note. If you remember, I mentioned some of these have you can tell they're pre 1900 and some are after the hurricane. You can tell by this impression in the ground. When this was built 1899, it was pretty much sea level. There was no seawall yet. The hurricane had not hit yet, and there was no need to build a seawall. So this was sea level. And after the hurricane 1900 hit, and they decided to put a seawall up, they raised the whole island. This part of the fort was raised about 12 feet. They built a seawall. They couldn't raise the battery, so this left where it is. And that's why this battery is in a deep depression. But two of the batteries are pre-1900, and they're in depressions. The rest of them are actually built up on top of the field after they built the seawall. Now let's head right here. This is a battery commander station, and I don't really know exactly when it was built. Look at the concrete; it has that 1920s look of the big limestone-looking rocks embedded. But it has always sort of captured my imagination, especially as a young kid, just because of the way the forts are built. The older ones, like that one over there, which we'll go there next, and Battery Ernst, they're somewhat in depressions in the ground because of when they were built. Again, the seawall was built and everything and backfilled, and They couldn't raise them. Well, this here is looks like it's on a hill, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when I want to show you what I'm about to show you. This here, it looks like it used to be maybe a periscope. There's optical rangefinders. Basically, it's a periscope with two binoculars on it, and they look at a vessel out in the ocean. Well, when the two binoculars look at it, you see two vessels. It's only one ship, but it sees two vessels. And you turn some knobs and dials with numbers and calibrations on it, and those two vessels slowly become one vessel. And once it becomes one vessel, then you look at the numbers on the dials, do a little mathematics and calculus, and that will tell you what angle your binoculars have to join each other to make that one image, and that's your distance from the binoculars to the object you're looking at. It's a very rudimentary. This is World War I, World War II tech, pre radar. A lot of the installations has little things sticking up that used to be periscopes. They used to be basically range finding, optical rangefinders. Well, this just looks like it may have been an optical rangefinder, and that sort of makes me wonder exactly where is it going underground? Because if you look at this whole structure, it's a hill. It's a concrete bunker on a hill, and it looks like it doesn't really do much. But if you start looking under places and under things, see if I can get it angled right. You start realizing this thing, this maybe at one time this was had an underground, like more like a command station underground. Maybe the optical rangefinder, that periscope went down out here. Down here, they can do the knob adjustments and everything, looking out over the bay, and then feed Battery Ernst the numbers so they can aim their guns and engage target. Another thing, also, same thing with that little underground part there, is over here. Also looks like used to be maybe a doorway, and I don't know if they maybe backfilled this at one time. Not sure if you can see any far in there. Let me get this right. So yeah, that's as a child, that's why it's been sort of a theory of mine that underground there's a little command portion underground, and sometime with this hill, it just looks weird. And at some time, before it became a park, like I said, when I was in my childhood, this wasn't a park that they maintained or anything. You just go out here and do your thing, and no one really cared what you did. Once it became a park, and they mowed the grass and started taking care of things and put signs up, then it was different. But I've always wondered, was this backfilled at one time? Did the county or even when place was decommissioned, did they go ahead and backfill this park? So I probably never know the answer to that. But this is the battery commander station, if that helps any. And that there is Battery Ernst. Now we have Battery Davis. This is Battery Davis. This had two 8-inch guns. There was one mounted, there was one right there, and one over there. These were considered breech loading, disappearing guns. Kind of way they worked was you would your gun would be laying flat down below this wall, and you would load it up, and then would then elevate it up over the wall, engage any target you're engaging, and the recoil of the recoil once you fire that round would push it back and then cantilever it back down beneath the wall, under the wall, reload it. And I call them disappearing guns because out on the ocean side, when you're getting engaged by these 8-inch guns, they would fire, and a lot of times they done recoil back under the wall before that round even hit you. So it's sort of hard to pinpoint where the incoming round was coming from. It was built 1899. This is just like Ernst over there, Battery Ernst. This had a couple modifications over the years. Had a World War One refit, and I believe another World War Two refit. Structure you see right there, there used to be a little wall. You probably see something there. There used to be a little wall that came out, like a roof that used to come out over this, and there were stairs that were running up onto these. Of course, that all collapsed. Back in my young childhood, in fact, I got photos. I'm gonna insert the photos in here, like, probably right now, as I jabber along. But there's a few photos I took on a potato. I don't know why I didn't take more. But yeah, it's probably a flip phone or something. Who knows? But anyway, in my childhood, younger years, there's no gate here. You can go in here, and there's a magazine where they store the powder and the projectiles, and other corridors, and you know, it's really a little not a maze, but a bunch of little corridors that ran through here. Right here, this structure here, it looks a little bit kind of newer. Was a generator room, and that's where a diesel generator, or yeah, at least one or two diesel generators used to be in this room here. So it was built after 1899. It's probably it probably was built sometime in the neighborhood of World War One, maybe World War Two. You see the layered concrete. 1899, when they built this, it was built to engage a certain caliber of guns, a certain type of gun. Then as your 1800s rolls into your World War One era, guns got bigger, more powerful. So you had a little more concrete on top, because it's all reinforced concrete. In fact, originally it was reinforced concrete, and the foundation was held up by giant pine timbers hammered down into the sand, which are probably still down there underneath all this stuff. But as war tech moved on and World War II crept in, and upgrades and refits, you started getting more concrete. I've been inside here, and the 1890s part, which is the bottom part of the concrete, on the ceiling looking up, there was parts of concrete sloughing off the ceiling and stuff. And that's probably one of the reasons also they fenced this off. Plus, people, once you get on top up there's no railing. I mean, if you fall off, you're just hitting concrete, 10 feet down. But the generator room, that was probably World War One, World War Two. Once they got diesel generators, that's about when I was built. Yeah, I really wish I can get inside there still, but they have it all fenced off. In fact, you can. I'll see if I can. You probably can't see it. Yeah, maybe you can, but you see rubble on the ground. Rubble. Yeah, that is the ceiling of this room that is sloughing off and falling into the ground. So yeah, it's not 100% safe to be in there. I mean, if you're in there and 5-pound piece of concrete decides to drop off the ceiling, it's just gonna get you in the head. Right there, you see two exhaust ports where exhaust used to come out. So this was, like I said, a generator room, powering the power for this one battery. A lot of these batteries had their own power plants. I think Ernst did not have a power plant. I believe, and I could be wrong, because again, all they had was 3-inch guns, which wasn't all that powerful. It was fast at engaging small, fast-moving targets, torpedo boats and other smaller boats. That's also why we have a layered effect here. Ernst is way over there, and that's further out into this bay inlet here, where his smaller caliber guns could engage targets. Davis here has 8-inch guns. It's moved further out, so it's able to engage targets further out. Then when you go to Kimball over here, which I'll go to probably next, Kimball has 12-inch guns, and it's designed to engage targets out to 17 miles. So, but yeah, like I said, I really wish I could get in there. I inserted the photos and everything. Inside this here, there are the magazines. If you walk in that hallway there, it's sort of, you can still see there's I think, if I remember right, there's a stairwell that runs up into that little gun battery pit right there. I remember right. It's been a while since I've been there. So let's go down to Battery Kimball. That's the largest battery on Fort Travis. Another side note, if you notice, this is also indented into the ground. Again, built 1899. It was built before seawall. The seawall here was actually built 1903, I do believe, when the seawall was built. And again, they couldn't raise this 12 feet, so they went ahead and pumped in mud and sand from the bay, and this here was just kept open, backfilled. Right there's a drain. There's a couple pump houses there, but any kind of water that would flow in here for rain or whatever, it would go down that drain, and it would go to a small sump, because this is almost this is about 2 feet above sea level, and so you really can't drain it, and that would have been pumped out of that was sumped into the bay or whatever. In my childhood, I think I remember it was that one there, and probably one more over there somewhere, but I don't see it. It might have been buried over mud and stuff over the years. All right, now let's go to Fort Kimball. Okay, this is Battery Kimball. Battery Kimball is the largest battery out here. It was built in 1922. Finished 1922. It was built right towards the tail end of World War I, and utilized through World War II. And if I remember right, this was the first one to actually be decommissioned. It was decommissioned in 1943. On either side, it had 12-inch batteries. These batteries were actually guns that were moved off of older obsolete warships. Pre-World War I, a lot of the sort of pre-dreadnought ships, up into the dreadnought era, the largest guns on these ships back in those days were 12-inch guns. And once World War I commenced, and the whole arms race, and then into World War II, these vessels went from 12-inch guns to 14-inch guns. The Bismarck and German ships often had 15-inch guns. American battleships progressed all the way to 16-inch projectiles. And of course, Japan had the Yamato class ships with the 18-inch. But sometime near the end of World War I, 12-inch guns on a ship was somewhat obsolete. So a lot of these batteries along the Atlantic coast, and I believe also Pacific coast, but along the Atlantic coast, a lot of these coastal fortifications received those guns off these old ships that were being decommissioned because they're obsolete. But this is the location of one of the batteries, and this would have been cool to watch, cool to see if it was ever still in place. It's now so full of concrete. Originally, there was like another 5-foot pit right here, and the gun sat on the platform, and that platform revolved around. Again, this is Gulf of Mexico right here, where those ships are. This 12-inch gun actually had a 17-mile firing range, which was pretty impressive. Really, if you're 17 miles out on a ship, on an enemy ship coming in, there would have been periscopes, spotting scopes on top of this hill. Odds are this battery is going to spot you on the ocean before you realize that this hill sitting right here is actually 2 12-inch guns pointing at you. So it's pretty cool little system for this fortification. It's mostly concrete with dirt on top, so it's pretty much any projectile incoming in World War I, World War II. This thing could probably absorb, and it wouldn't penetrate the battery or none of the magazines. Now this little structure here. Now the bottom part's original to the fort, 1920s. The top part is the cap they put on top when they decided to turn this place into a state-ran, county-ran park. This is the cap. If you remove this cap right here, you can get down inside this, and this is a tunnel that goes all the way to the fort into the magazines. This is how they actually transported the powder and projectiles from the magazines inside the fort through this tunnel, and then they had a little system where they can hoist it out, and then come to the guns. Again, ram your projectile in, because this was a battleship gun. Ram your projectile in, and then put your bags of powder behind it, close breech, and then given information that the plotting room gives you on how far and the range of the target, you point your gun in that direction, right bearing, right angle, and you fire off and try to engage your target. But yeah, this if you move this capstone here, this little cap piece, you can go down inside the battery, the magazine. Nothing that sort of stands off unique about this battery here, Battery Chemical, is it has a chemical warfare um, decontamination room. Kind of think about it. World War I and World War II, it was somewhat unrestricted warfare. I mean, you had rules of engagement to a point, but those early days of our modern war, World War I, World War II, the idea of mass bombing cities and and civilians, and using mustard gas and chemical warfare, that was still very much of a common practice in World War I and into World War II. It was after World War II we started trying to place rules and engagement there. So this is storage here. Now, in my childhood, these were all open. In my childhood, all these doors would swing open, and now they're all either blocked off and padlocked. They don't want nobody in here. It's unfortunate. But this is a storage room. Let's see if I can get my camera, get you guys a look in there. I'm not sure what you're gonna see, if anything. Probably not much. But yeah, this is all blocked off, of course. These two rooms here. Kind of a shame, unfortunately. This is officer's latrine. Again, all blocked off. Data computing room. And I believe this is part of the fire control. You had a plotting room and a data computing room. But inside here would have been where a lot of your plotting and range. In fact, I think right above us is a range finder above us. I want to try to get up there. I'm not sure if I can or not. Here's your plotting room. Again, these are all padlocked and closed off, unfortunately. This is one of your magazines. This is where your powder and projectiles would have been divided up and stored. You probably can't see inside. There's one on the other end that you can probably see better. These stairs led up to upper portion, which I think they had some spotting and some other equipment up there. Back in my childhood days, these were actually open. They didn't have them gated off, barred off, so you can't get up there. Kind of amazed how they built this in 1922. You still see some of the original light fixtures up there. The bulbs, of course, all busted out. Original wiring was the old wiring. It had like a cloth fabric installation on it. It was before we had rubbers and other kind of modern wiring and stuff. Not sure what this is. Now this over here, I think I used to call it a shower. When I saw that, it looked like you put a curtain around it and turned it into a shower. But I think this might have been a water tank at one time. Just because if you set it here and put a tank on top, and have it gravity fed. Remember, there's a bathroom over here, and there's one more bathroom on subs over here. And gravity feeding this would have provided water pressure for the bathrooms. And of course, here when you flush the toilet, you simply flush it and it flows off into the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, they didn't have any kind of septic or sewage. Most back in those days, everything just flowed off into the ocean. Another stairwell heading up. This is outer blast door that this one side is missing. I think it's heavy. Get some light in here. So this is one of your magazines here. And at one time, this would have been all divided off into powder storage and shell storage. In fact, right here you can see is another partition you can now close. Trying to get it so you can see it all. And up there used to be probably some lighting and other things. The cool thing about this structure here, if I can get it over here without dropping the camera, during hurricanes, here in the Gulf Coast. Up to the 1960s, a lot of times people would on Bolivar, here in Bolivar, would actually come to these bunkers and actually hide out during a hurricane because this is a rather safe place to hide out. But yeah, I really wish I can get in here. Back in my childhood, you could, walk through here and do things and see things, and all these doors are wide open. Another plotting room. So that's what it means that these two guns operated independently. Both guns could engage separate targets if need be because they had two different plotting rooms, which also means they probably have two different their own periscopes or rangefinders that are probably right above us up here. I want to try to. There's another way I can get up the top. I want to try to get up top to it myself, and this sort of. I gotta remember this plotting room is at the edge of this roof here, and my brain's telling me there's actually a what's left of what used to be a optical rangefinder sitting up there. If that's plotting room, same as over there. This is probably the data computing center, another one. So yeah, probably its own data computing center. This your enlisted latrine right here. Other side, you had your officers' latrine. So they had class rank segregated latrines. In my childhood being here, I don't remember ever remember. I remember I was all through these structures, and back then nothing was labeled. It was just, in fact, a lot of this was chest high weeds and stuff, and so it was unkept and nothing was really maintained here at all. And I don't recall. I remember going through rooms. I remember seeing some old equipment and stuff, but I just don't remember exactly what I was looking at enough to say, hey, that was a bathroom, or hey, that was a plotting room. Another storage room. Along this side is the other 12-inch battery. Yeah, they were here cutting grass recently, this morning when I came out here. I'm hoping they would kind of give it a rest because they're a little noisy. But yeah, this is your other 12-inch battery. And of course, right over here, it's hard to see this right here. That is your other ammo powder manway, where you would deliver from inside your powdered ammo, bring it to this here. Then they had probably a way to lift it up out of there. Might have been mechanical, might have been manpower. I really don't know. You think it'd probably be mechanical lifting it out of the ground, and then they would then wheel it either on carts, or maybe they had rails here at one time. We go into the gun, projectile, powder, and then whatever calculation you're given, engage targets out in the Gulf of Mexico. But from the ocean side, all you see is a hill for the most part. All right, that's the edge of the roof downstairs, and yeah, this would be like right over the plotting area. And these were the periscopes for the range finding. Yeah, not sure exactly how they worked. I just know they stuck over the wall, and if you can have two different points pointing at an object, just a little bit of math and calculations, you can tell how far the object is away from where you are. And that's what these were for. Yeah, one of the reasons they have this upper part really closed off the people is so that people don't walk off this edge here. Because if you walk off the edge, I already doubt you're gonna survive it. So. Yeah, this here stairs goes to a almost like it looks like a trench. Goes up the top and then goes to a trench on the other side. It goes that way, and the other side has like a looks almost like a trench in there. Again, this place was built 1920s, and 1920s, World War One, even into World War Two, but a lot of trench warfare took place. Those steps leading down. Yeah, that little manway there. I'm not going in there because these little sandbars everywhere. That's one of the little trench network on top of the hill. That's like one of those little World War One zigzag trenches. This is the other pair of stairs going down to the first floor. And this is your other set of periscopes. And these steps are big. Goodness gracious. That's these on top. Not sure exactly what this could have been, but now let's go head over to battery 236, which is over there. That's a really cool battery. Head that way. Another thing I just noticed is right here. Little ledge here. There's probably at one time a covering over this area here, where all you had was a little slit and the periscopes sticking up out of that slit. Wasn't out in the open like it is right now. Huh. Kind of wish I want to dig to the internet. I'm gonna try to see if I can find any kind of photos, World War One, World War Two photos of this location. See if I can put two and two together. I don't know if I'm gonna find them because we did go around just taking photo places back in those days. I never put two and two together. If this is a water tank right here at one time, and that's the chemical warfare service room, from what I hear, it's a washroom for contamination. Then yeah, you would have a water tank here that's gravity fed in order to operate showers in here. Interesting. Never put two together. So yeah, here's the map of the battery Kimball. Here's these rooms, not rooms, or magazines that are all subdivided off. There's that tunnel. This is the plotting room, data computing room, and this is latrine and storage. Same as over here. Anyway, your guns were here, and yeah, this was the manway-like structure that you would then bring the projectiles, and they would run under this underground up to the battery. Then from battery taken to the guns. This is one of the 12-inch guns. Originally a gun on an old battleship, repurposed as a coastal defense gun. Now let's go to battery 236. That's a cool little battery. Had a lot of mystique to it because I've never been inside that one. Now what we have here is battery 236. This is the newest. I say newest. This is the youngest battery out here. This was built in 1940, 45, I believe, and then decommissioned a year later. In fact, it was only about 99% complete. The main guns were never installed. In fact, there was a gun over here and one on the other side there, which I'll get in a minute. But this is an example of a battery or a piece of military technology that is built, completed just as its usefulness was coming to an end. Because by the time this was finished and commissioned, it was pretty much already obsolete. Used to be an observation tower here. It's now gone. This was the diesel engine air intakes right here. This has a series of diesel engines inside that produced power. These are the intakes through those diesel engines. Yeah, this is looking down the intake. You get past this grate here, you have another grate, and that goes into the diesel generator room. Yeah, they're pretty much the same design somewhat. Out of all the structures, this is the only one I have never been inside, and it kind of breaks the heart. Those things you see there, you see two right there, and two right there. Those are sumps. Those are actually a fuel storage underground. These are they store the fuel for the generators actually. I think what intrigues me about this one here is they have power going to it, and I don't really know why. But this is one of the main entrances here, going into the battery. I don't think you can see anything in there. It's just probably way too dark. Yeah. But going into this door here, you enter the batteries, the magazines, where they store the ammo and shells. Then you also have what's a fire control station in here. That's in a sort of blast-proof sealed door. You can seal it, and it's like a what's it called? It's like a, I don't want to say airtight. But it's a sealed chamber that you go through in order to get to the fire control station. On top is a also used to be a periscope or optical rangefinder. Over here is where one of the batteries would have been located at if it was mounted on here. Like I said, this was decommissioned in 1946, so the guns were actually never installed. This is another those bunkers things. What's cool about this is the little blast door still exists. That's the blast door. It closes and latches. You got one there. We got the one on the inside. That one there is already closed. That was probably some kind of where a phone once used to be. You had the door on the outside. The door is now gone. Either it rusted away or years ago someone yanked it for scrap and everything. That old blast door is actually missing. Right there is another little pyramid concrete thing with the pipe going through it. Very much like over the battery urns. And I believe that's probably where the periscope used to be for the rangefinder. Because right under that, or that vicinity, is actually the fire control station. Yeah, I really wish I could see what's in there. Yeah, what if there's a nub here? I could open this. The hinges look decent enough. You can yank it open probably. But yeah, they would actually haul out shells and ammo from here. I believe they will haul shells and ammo, store them here on both sides. This used to also have a door that could swing open. Probably swing open here, and it'll then shut like that. The way this is beveled, the concrete's beveled, it probably swung out. Anyway, the shells and powder was pulled out, stored here. These doors were shut to keep from being accidentally detonated. Then when needed, these doors would swing open, powder, shells come over here to the battery. Then there would be the shell would be inserted, the powder would be inserted, and whatever whatever range and calculations the fire control gave you. That's the bearing and the angle of your gun to engage the target out in the Gulf of Mexico. Cool thing here is the metal, the iron rail. The gun sort of sat in here. This was like more of a pit. It went down about 3-4 feet, maybe 5 feet, and then the gun actually sat in here, and the roller sort of rolled along this rail here. That's how it's supposed to pivot and roll and everything. From the ocean side, all you see is just a big hill, and these these two small, somewhat low profile guns pointing out into the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, this is sort of a brief overlook of what's in this battery 236. Again, I've never been inside here. These are the front doors right here that I'm standing in front of. That's the diesel air intakes right over there. Right here will be your diesel engines, line right here. This is your fire control station here with your little air intake, air sealed chamber. That's the battery I was standing at, and this is the door I was looking into. And if you saw anything inside there, you're looking down this corridor right here. So yeah, this is the one place I have just never been inside. It's always been locked off, sealed off. I'm not sure what's inside of it. I'm pretty sure military, when they decommissioned in 1946, stripped this place bare. That's how the 6-inch gun would have looked back in the day. But the fact that it has power going to it, that intrigues me. I've always wondered why there's power going to it. Again, that's your observation tower. They used to poke up above the battery. Other side is your other 6-inch battery. Other side. Again, those are your diesel storage tanks. One here and one on the other side. Now they're pretty much just full of water. There's ladders that go down into them. I believe they're connected by a little tank. There's a big tank underneath the ground, but there's 2 ways to get into them. Right now they're pretty much just full of old stagnant water. Back to the other side, same little bunker thing. This is missing all the blast doors except one at the front. Of course, it's missing this door also. Again, I don't know if it rotted off or if it was stolen by scavengers. But it's the same kind of thing. Hinges. I'm pretty sure that hinge is probably, yeah, it's just rusted solid. Right there is another periscope. Now, I don't know if these guns, I know that we had one fire control station. I don't know if those periscopes fed into one station or you had two locations where you could train both guns independently or together. That's your location of your other battery. Again, the rail still there since 1940, 46, 45, 46. And over here, the same situation. You have your little powder projectile storage bins, and that's your door going into the magazine. This one's welded shut. There's no way to get inside or anything, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to see anything in there. Probably not. Probably just too dark. But that's all I got. This is Fort Travis over in Bolivar Peninsula off of Galveston on a beautiful day. Cool side note is during the hurricanes, up in the 1960s, we had hurricanes. People who lived on Bolivar would actually come to this Fort Travis and often seek refuge. Well, that's all I have. This is Fort Travis. If you live in the Houston area, I would come down here. It's great fishing, great sunshine, great place to, a great place to go and hang out and whatnot. But like I said, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed. This is actually the fifth time we try to film this video. Hoping audio is coming out great. And that's all I got. Now this used to be a pump room. This was a pump room. And the water is pumped and stored in these big tanks here. That was the water that was utilized in Fort Travis. In fact, the water tank might still actually have water. You see. That's a more modern tank right there. At one time, there was a lot of Boy Scouts, so to camp out, there's bungalows over there you can camp out at and everything. But this is your cistern or your water storage. And it's currently its own little ecosystem. You know, there's water still in it, cattails and stuff. That's another one there. Yeah, this place has a lot of foundations and that are. They have a mess hall. They have some other administrative rooms. Here's other water storage tank. Similar to that one there. I guess what they'll do is they'll probably pump the water. Like I said, over there at Fort Battery Kimball, they probably had a water tank sitting there one time. And the probably water is pumped to that tank and then gravity fed down.